All right, we're going to do it once more. And this time, no mistakes. 1, 2, 3, 4. Good morning. Good morning.
It's great to stay up late.
Good morning. Good morning to you.
When the band began to play, the stars were shining bright.
But now the milkman's on his way. It's too late to say goodnight.
So say good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning to you.
It could be grander than to be in Louisiana in the morning. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought we were still going.
Good afternoon and welcome to Good Morning 30A. I'm Julie Brown.
And I'm Red Vizard.
And we are coming to you today from the beautiful Henderson Park Inn inside the presidential suite. They actually let us in this time. It is gorgeous
They gave us the code.
with our beautiful background. And joining us today, our first guest is Dan Sullivan from Davis Properties. Welcome.
Thank you, Julie.
You got to come to our special, beautiful location.
Yes, it is. It's gorgeous.
Now, you specialize in Seagrove, is that correct?
Well, actually, the whole 30A corridor.
Oh.
If you go from Inlet Beach all the way down to where it intersects with 98. But our offices are located right at the intersection of 395 and 30A, just past where Seaside ends, Seagrove begins.
That little market, where that little market is, right?
Correct,
there.
the Market
Okay.
Cafe.
Yep. Great.
That's exactly right.
Nice location.
And how long have you been there?
Actually, Davis Properties has been in the Seaside area for the better part of 15 years, but had to change locations from Seaside to our current location about 6 months ago because they lost their lease over in Seaside, and it was obviously decided that they wanted to stay in the same area. So fortunately, the location we're in now has a very historic significance to Seagrove because the guy, Q McGee, who began this whole process back in the late 40s, had his first real estate office right there.
Oh, terrific.
Yeah, that's kind of neat.
And is it the same building and everything?
Virtually. I mean, his office was nothing more than a trailer at that corner, but the building that we're in has had several realtors over the years, located there.
Located in that area.
So you can feel the feeling of the ghosts
There's no
of
question
the
about
realtors.
it. I mean, when you see some of the pictures that relate to what it was like 60-plus years ago in that area,
Oh, that's
it's
going to be
unreal,
incredible
you
to,
know.
to see the
And,
differences.
yeah, exactly.
Well, the streets weren't paved.
No, the streets weren't
back
paved.
then it was all dirt
Among
roads.
no buildings for the
That's
most part,
exactly
probably
right.
too. A lot
Right.
of that.
And little tiny, Florida houses. What you
Absolutely.
picture as a Florida house.
The traditional Florida cottage, as they say,
they used to say.
is what comes to mind.
Okay.
So give us some good news on the market. What's going on right now?
Well,
Tell
look,
us something good.
I am. I'm loaded with good news
Wonderful.
because the good news is, in fact, good. The simple truth is that the economy is continuing to improve nationally and locally. If you look at real estate, for example, where we are, that corridor of 30A, which under ECAR terms means areas 17 and 18, year to date, the activity, the number of transactions is up about 30%. The volume is about flat with last year, but that's much better than being down in terms of dollar volume. And in terms of the average sale price, yeah, it's down from last year. But the simple truth is that people are buying. They're buying
just
lots,
such a
they're
great
buying
time, though.
houses. And the bottom that everyone's been looking for is now.
You think it's right
I was
now?
going to ask you that.
Absolutely.
You do think that this is the absolute, we're not going to...
No, there's no question about it. When you drive down 38 today, 2 years ago, you wouldn't found any construction. You wouldn't see houses going up anywhere.
We were just talking
But
about that
now,
all of a sudden.
Guess what? You start to see it. And it's in concert with what was announced yesterday, which was that new home construction is up 8.9% nationally, and almost every sector of the country experienced it, including this one.
Well, what I was going to ask you then is the sales that we're seeing, the percentages that are going up in sales, are those previously lived-in homes or are those new homes?
No.
What's the balance on that?
No. The bottom line is that a lot of the activity that is happening is being spurred by bank-owned or short-sale property.
Yeah.
And this is just a truth that no matter what market you're in, you're going to find. And as we wade through that inventory and get to the point where you're back to normal, so to speak,
What is normal in this?
Well,
that's a very good question.
It's true, but and again, realizing how crazy things were.
I was going to say, not to
down
the
at
crazy
one point.
level again, back to something that
But
makes sense.
The fact is that people who know a good deal when they see one are the ones who are coming into the market, who have cash, who have credit worthiness, and are buying properties because they know that the entry level today is in fact going to be a lot less than it's going to be a year from now, 2 years from now, or more.
So this is the time to get in.
Absolutely.
Right. And are the land sales going along with that right now, or you say it is? The land is just as quickly.
I've had several lots myself sold within the last 4 months.
Oh, that's awesome.
That turned within 30, 40, 55 days because they were at good prices. They were bank owned, but they were at good prices, and people knew that now is the time to get them.
And do you find that the banks are cooperating in the way that they really don't want to own the property?
Yes,
they're making it so they're not making it impossible for buyers to get the properties.
It depends. I mean, the bottom line is the banks don't want these assets on their books. That's not the business that they're in. They're in the business of lending money.
Correct.
They don't want houses. They don't want condominiums. So now, having said that, every bank is different. Some banks are more flexible than others, and at the same time, they have a different attitude or a different set of priorities. I mean, you have to remember how many banks have changed hands within the last couple of years.
Many.
So a lot of banks that took over banks that went under are now faced with the fact that, look, we didn't create this mess, but we're the ones that have to clean it up. But they all know the simple fact is they've got to get rid of these assets to get back to a point where their primary business is what they're focused on, which is lending money.
That's awesome. So now, Davis Properties, do you specialize in just the real estate end of it? Do you also have mortgage brokers working with you? And are you a broker or you a realtor? What is your?
No, I'm
what
a
is
realtor.
Your
a broker is, obviously a whole other level. And at this point, it may be something I would aspire to, but right now I'm just focused on being a good real estate agent.
Which we need.
Exactly.
Yeah, we do.
Davis is focused on the primary selling and listing of homes, as well as assisting people in terms of finding properties and opportunities that they may in fact refer them to, either to brokers or to whoever that accomplishes that. But that's their primary function.
And that's your job. You are a realtor.
Right. That's exactly right.
Well, it's nice to hear things are starting to move, because all up and down, you see so many of the neighborhoods, and there's all those lots that are just sitting, and it's heartbreaking to see so many things that were in the beginning stages that just fell right down, and to think now that hopefully
and some
it is starting to
that grew up as little townhouses that are just sitting empty and
You'd much rather see things go in than just see it grass over and look awful, and it's nice to hear that.
Look, it's called blight in some other places, and the simple fact is that as those lots begin to sell and as it becomes more viable for builders to jump back into the marketplace, you'll begin to see those developments begin to have new life and a future, because it has to. I mean,
it can't stay like this.
No, because the land is still valuable, and it
goes up and down, just like any other business.
That's right. When you buy the water, it's always going to hold some sort of value anyway. It's only going to come back.
And they're not building more of it.
No, they're not.
So if you're interested in getting in on this, how do we get in touch with you?
Well, at Davis Properties, the office number there is 850-231-2025, and obviously my name is Dan Sullivan, or my cell number, which is 609-703-4894.
And go ahead.
I was just going to say, and tell him that you saw him on 38 television, and he'll send us a little bonus.
Absolutely. My pleasure.
A cookie. I meant.
A cookie.
And do you have a website at all that you wanted to give out as well?
Well, davisproperties.com would be the best way to not only get a handle on the inventory that we're handling, but at the same time, contact me or even Larry Davis for that matter.
And how long has Davis Properties been in business down here? How well do they know the area?
20 years. I mean, Larry Davis's brother, Robert Davis, is the one who developed Seaside, and Larry also was instrumental in helping Rosemary Beach become what it is today. So he's very experienced and has a lot of history.
And he knows the area.
Right.
Okay. Dan, it was an absolute pleasure.
Thanks
for joining us today.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for bringing some good news.
Yeah, absolutely. Anytime.
Guys, we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to return here in just a moment. As we said before, we are filming today at the beautiful Henderson Park Inn, and you can see it snowed. Okay, that's the sand, honestly. And stick around. We'll be right back.